Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Christmas time. What better way to celebrate Christmas than with a little bit of Pentatonix? I feel like they've kind of become synonymous with Christmas here because they put out so many phenomenal Christmas albums. Today we're going to be covering Carol of the Bells, arranged of course by the one and only Pentatonix. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Oh, that was a nice run. Beautiful harmony already. It looks so normal. Get it, Kevin. I like that feel. Really feel the 3/4.
Hark the bells, sweet silver bells, all seem to say, throw cares away. Christmas is here, bringing good cheer to young and old, meek and the bold. Ding dong, ding dong.
It's a beautiful
song with joyful
harmony.
ring. All caroling, one seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Oh, how they pound, raising their sound, o'er hills and dales, telling their tales. Merry, merry, while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here, very, very merry, merry Christmas, merry, 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 merry Christmas. On they send on without end their joyful tone to everyone. Ding dong.
Oh, that's cool. Okay. It's a weird place to stop. I think I'm gonna backtrack a little bit for there, but I feel like I can't go through too much of the piece because I'm gonna miss stuff. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is my man Kevin, because I feel like I haven't really talked much about him here recently, and I gotta give him a little bit of love, right? So for those of us that don't know, this piece is actually written in 3/4. And now what that means is that there are basically 3 quarter notes in every measure. So it's groupings of 3. So you got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's also got a 2 against 3 type feel, which means you've got those 3 beats paired up against 2 beats. So you've got the 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, but also 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and which gives us that. Right, that kind of feel for the entire piece, and it was written that way kind of purposefully. But what I'm getting at is that at the beginning, I think Kevin does such a great job of really accenting that 3 feel, which is pretty much the base of the whole piece, with that ch sound in his voice. But what I really like about it is not only is he accenting that pattern, but it kind of sound, to me anyway, it kind of sounds like sleigh bells. So you got the ch, 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 and I don't know, it might not have been written that way, but that's kind of how I feel it, and I think it was a really cool touch. Also along those kind of same lines, that I find really super cool is that Kevin, his beatboxing, it would be easy to just kind of be a beatboxer and kick back in the groove, which he does really well. His groove is some of the best that I've ever heard. I mean, some of his grooves are just, they feel so good. He also has such a wide array of sounds at his disposal, which really likens him to a percussionist as well as not just a beatboxer. Now, in my mind, I kind of have those two separate in a sense, because in my mind, you know, it's really easy to put beatboxers just in the box of these guys are like great drum set players. They have great groove, great feel, but he also has that percussive element in his toolbox, which I think really helps to elevate him above the normal kind of beatbox realm, so to speak. I love that 3 feel. Those are some awesome harmonies.
Sweet silver bells all seem to say, throw cares
Mitch
away.
sounds great.
We will throw cares away. Christmas is here,
Avi
bringing
man.
good cheer to young and old, meek and bold. Bringing cheer.
Cheese.
Oh, how they pound, raising their sound.
Yes, dude. Okay. One thing I kind of wanted to comment on real briefly was the difference in like kind of the layers of the piece. So we've got the upper voices, which would be Mitch, Kirsten. They've got this, this kind of a 3-part harmony up top, which kind of sounds a little light and airy, which, it by nature, since they're higher, it's going to sound that way. But I think Kevin and Avi do such a great job of just laying that foundation. I mean, Avi is down there, just laying that tonal foundation, and Kevin gives this really heavy, it kind of reminds me, I mean, the Trans-Siberian Orchestra version of Carol of the Bells, I was madly in love with it for many years of my life just because of that heavy sound. But Kevin kind of does that. That's what it reminds me of in his voice. And I think it's a really cool juxtaposition between high and low and kind of light and airy, but grounded. I really dig it. Yes. There's so much to listen to. That's a really cool melody. Ooh. That was a really sweet resolution. Man, I already feel like I missed. There's so much stuff that I want to talk about, but I'm not going to just hit everything because I could be talking. I mean, I say this a lot, but I could just be sitting here talking about this all day. The last thing that I'm just going to leave it on, and I'm not really going to talk much about it because it is not one of my strong suits. I really enjoyed that ending because we started off with Mitch singing a not easy melody in and of itself, but then Kirsten came in with a counter melody. It kind of reminds me of counterpoint. This is what I'm talking about. I'm not I'm a super novice when it comes to counterpoint, so I don't know anything about it. So some of you guys that are more advanced musicians out there, just ignore this point because I'm not sure. It reminds me of counterpoint. A friend of mine who was actually a master's candidate at the time when I was working on a bachelor's, he kind of talked to me a bit about counterpoint and it just completely flew over my head. But anyway, I digress. That's a complete tangent. But yeah, she's got the counter melody. And then Scott comes in. At this point, I kind of started listening to Avi. But I think Scott came in with another melody. I don't know if he was providing harmony or not. So somebody can probably talk on that better than I can. But I just thought it was really cool, those counter melodies going on at the same time, while still, being in the same realm. But I started listening to Avi and man, like there's just so many jumps, which is kind of par for the course for the bass lines. They jump around a lot. They kind of have different rules when it comes to part writing. And, one of the rules, the upper voices have certain rules that they follow. And one of them is that they don't jump too far, usually. But the bass from the very beginning is like you could jump a whole different, a lot of. I think he does such a great job of doing that. And to this day, I'm still impressed by Pentatonix. And I'm sure I'm going to continue to be impressed. But yeah. That's it for today's video. I feel like it went really fast. I mean, it wasn't a super long video, but I don't know. It was kind of like an adrenaline rush. I'm not sure exactly what happened, what's going on, but we're at the end. I feel like I missed 90% of what happened in this piece by Pentatonix, so I hope you'll forgive me for that. But yeah, thanks so much for stopping by. Thanks so much for celebrating the holidays with myself and with our friends from Pentatonix. It's been fun. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you really liked the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to get more content like this. And hopefully we'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.